Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm going to give people just a minute to join, and then we'll get started, and I'm sure more people will trickle in. But as everyone is joining, would love for you all to introduce yourself in the chat, and let us know where you're zooming in from, how old your kids are, and what made you curious to join today so that we can make today's call as relevant to you as possible. We don't want it to feel like a webinar where we're talking at you. It'll be a small, intimate group, and so we want to take this time. You have our undivided attention. We want to make sure that what we're sharing is most relevant to you all. So would love for you to introduce yourself in the chat as we let a few more people join and trickle in. And then we'll get started. Love to have almost 9-year-old and 6-year-old. So fun, such fun ages. Excited to have you here with us. And I'm going to give it one more minute and then I will kick off my introductions and get us started. But excited to have you all joining us today.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Sorry, I'm a little late.
All good. We're just doing introductions, hearing who you are, how old your kids are, where you're zooming in from, and then we are going to dive right in. So I'm sure a couple more people will trickle in, but I will go ahead and introduce myself and get us started and being mindful of everyone's time on this Tuesday. I'm Jules. I lead community at Curious Cardinals, but before I joined our full-time team, I was a mentor when I was a student at Northwestern. So now I get to speak to families and students, mentors, parents all day, every day. But before I did that, I was a mentor myself. And we're so excited to have you joining us today. Also on the call with me is Kaylee from our family admissions team. She'll be speaking more later on, but excited to have you all here and to share Curious Cardinals with you this morning. So love all the intros in the chat. So grateful that you're taking the time to join us. And without further ado, I will go ahead and kick us off and get started. But as you continue to trickle in, would love to hear why you're here, what made you curious to join, and while we'll have dedicated Q&A time at the end, if there's any questions you have throughout, please don't hesitate to ask in the chat, and then at the end of the call, feel free to unmute, raise your hand, ask questions live. Again, we don't want this to feel like a webinar where we're just speaking at you. It's a small, intimate group, and you have our undivided attention, so we want to help make the most of that. And on that note, I'm excited to share a little bit more about Curious Cardinals. I'll share our founding story. I'll give you an idea of some students that we work with and examples of projects, the types of work we do, and then I'll hand it over to Kaylee and she'll talk about our mentors and what the process looks like if you wanted to get started, and then we'll have time for Q&A. So that's an overview of the session. So just to give you a little bit of big picture framing, Curious Cardinals is a one-on-one mentorship platform. We match K-12 students to college, grad student, and recent graduate mentors to work on passion projects and academics, really centered around building timeless skills in our AI world. So skills that will help them build confidence and curiosity, the things that last a lifetime. And we're excited to get to share more about Curious Cardinals and who we are and the work we do with you all today. But to give you some framing of how we came to be and how all of this got started, I will share our founding story. So in 2020, Audrey Wish and Alec Katz were students at Stanford, and they got sent home because of the pandemic. And Audrey started tutoring kids online. She was looking for a side project, trying to fill her time. And so she started working with students and realized that they were disengaged and uninspired. They were memorizing and regurgitating information for Friday's test, but they didn't understand why any of it mattered. They weren't connecting their learning to their interests, so she started doing just that. And one student asked for math help, but Audrey wasn't as passionate about math, so she called Alec, the Stanford aerospace engineer, and instead of drilling math equations, Alec showed the students how math makes airplanes fly. And that's when they realized this is how learning should work, this is what it should be like, and they started recruiting the most talented, passionate peers from Stanford and beyond. And what started as one relationship has grown, and now over the past 6 years, we've worked with more than 15,000 students around the world, and we're excited to share a little bit more about what that tangibly looks like, because that's a cool story and all, but what actually is Curious Cardinals? Curious Cardinals kind of has four main pillars. We believe in the best matching connection. The heart of what we do is matching K through 12 students to a mentor they can see themselves in, a near peer mentor who's relatable, old enough to have enough expertise to be actually useful, but still young enough to be that older sibling, mentor figure guide, role model who you can trust that your child is going to have someone to look up to, but someone they still relate to. So if you come to us and you have a middle school girl who plays volleyball and loves Taylor Swift and needs help in biology, we can find the Stanford biology major who also loves Taylor Swift, who also plays volleyball. So they have those shared nodes of connection so that they're not just matched on subject matter expertise, but they're also matched on their personality and their interests, and they have ways to connect beyond just the textbook material. And the way we actually drive student success, the way that we take that match and turn it into something real, is having structured and measured sessions. So we encourage students and mentors to set SMART goals. All of our sessions start and end the same way. So often students and mentors will start with a rosebud thorn check-in. So not only does the mentor get to hear what's going on in your student's life, but your student gets to hear what a Stanford, Harvard, Yale kids doing and what's happening in their life. And then really we see consistency compounds. So we've been doing this for 6 years. We see that the best results come when students and mentors are meeting weekly and have those consistent checkpoints to drive accountability over time and actually have amazing project outcomes. And at the end of the day, we hope to inspire a love of learning the same way Alec, our co-founder, got students to learn math by showing them how math makes airplanes fly. That's what we hope for every student. And we like to say our North Star is helping students find their North Star. And so that's the big picture framing. But what that tangibly looks like is having two main tracks in ways that we support students. The first is academic mentorship. That's like tutoring, except we like to say tutoring is the T word because it has a connotation of being transactional for Friday's test. And this is about so much more than that. We want to help students build confidence. We want to help them build resilience. We want to help them develop study strategies. It's not just about improving grades, although that is often a happy byproduct. We want them to have a genuine interest in their learning. And I'll share that when I was a mentor, I mentored a student named Estelle. I worked with her when she was in middle school and helped her in her English class. And not only did we take her from failing her English class to making all A's, which was great, the real heart of what we did, the thing that made us most happy and was her learning how to advocate for herself, her learning how to email her teachers, her learning how to ask for help. And then the way that we helped bring her grades up wasn't just drilling more reading, it was connecting the reading to her interests. So we made analogies from everything that she was reading in Shakespeare, finding it in her favorite TV shows, so Gossip Girl and the OC, finding it in Taylor Swift and Olivia Rodrigo songs, and connecting her learning to her interests. And that's really the heart of what we do and what makes us special. And then we have our passion project track, which is our more popular offering, especially popular as we're heading into the summer season. If your child has some extra time on their hands and wants to work on a cool project. And within our passion project track, we have four kind of main pillars. The first is building a portfolio, which is really common for our engineering students, for our aspiring artists who want to do a bunch of different projects and put them together. The next is research, which is another really popular track. That could look like publishing a research paper. It could look like presenting research for a science fair. It could be ISEF. It could be any of the different things, all the competitions, all the research, all the things. So research on a field of interest to your child. The next is launching an organization. That could be starting a nonprofit. It could be starting a club at school. It could be starting a small business or a startup. So that's all in the launch and organization track. And then last but not least, we have content creation. So that could be a blog, a Substack, starting a YouTube channel or a podcast. Maybe you have the next Alex Earl on our hands who wants to have a media empire. Those are all the options within our passion project track. And then as add-ons to those two things, we have executive functioning. So all of our mentors have access to our curriculum that has executive functioning, developed with executive functioning specialists who we have all these things to help tap into our silent superpowers. So time and task management, focus and concentration, reducing procrastination, meeting deadlines, and being a positive relationship so that you as parents don't have to nag your student. A mentor can be their accountability buddy, someone that your student doesn't want to let down, and someone who can text and check in and keep them on track so that you don't have to nag. And then if you come to us and you don't yet know what you want to do, that's totally okay. Students are young, they're exploring, they're developing, and there's no need to have it all figured out. We have a pathfinding program to help understand students' strengths and interests and think about where they want to take them and help them turn that into a real project. And so that's the big picture overview of what we do. And I will dive in more with some project examples to kind of showcase what these things look like in practice. So I'll start with Armand. We're going to start with the younger student. So to the parent of the 6 and 9-year-old, this will be of interest to you. Armand is an amazing, adorable 9-year-old third grader from the Bay Area, and he invented a copper bar of soap that never expires, never runs out, and doesn't require water, because he was thinking about what would be a good tool for under-resourced communities where water is a scarce resource. He was inspired by some travels that he took, and he has created this incredible product, and he's currently in the testing and development phase. And so this is what a young student has done. He worked with a Stanford mentor. He did petri dish experiments in his living room. And so this is one of our young students, and oftentimes our K through 5 students are gifted and talented, or exploring really awesome niche passions, or learning how to read and write, and doing all the fun things like that. So this is Armand, and I'm sure he'll have a portfolio of projects with us throughout the years. Next, I'll share Karis. Karis is an amazing 8th grader from Seattle, and Karis started a youth-led nonprofit helping dementia care patients explore play. She had done some research when someone who she knew was affected by dementia, and read that play is really important for dementia care patients, but often dementia care facilities don't have the time or resources to incorporate play into patients' care routines. And so Karis has created this multi-generational organization where she and her peers go into care facilities and do fun and engaging, playful exercises and activities. And she's currently scaling this across the Pacific Northwest. So this is an example of what it can look like to launch an organization. Next, I'll share Sloan. Sloan is an amazing 10th grader from New York. And Sloan wrote a research paper about cleaning up Earth's low orbit, so cleaning up all the satellites that we've launched. And she ended up garnering attention from NASA. And so she co-published a mission concept. She visited the Marshall Space Center, and she has done amazing work on the research front. And then last but not least, I'll share Josh. Josh is a student who came to us, and he has kind of tipped his toe into a bunch of the different buckets of things that we do. And so Josh came to us, and he was born with clubfoot, and he realized that he had access to resources that he wished more people had. So he started a really cool organization called Clubfoot Connect. And through his organization, he launched a blog. So he got in that content creation. He wrote a research paper. And then he did an internship, and now Josh is a student at Penn. So Josh is an example of how you can take a project and let it evolve through the years. And so those are 4 project examples, and you're probably thinking, that's great, but how do we actually get there? What is the process like? And I'm going to share the process using Rose as an example. So Rose is an amazing student from New York who started a profitable jewelry business. But I'm going to break down how she actually got there using our magic project formula. which is basically where we take a student's interest and we think about the skills that they want to learn and the way that they want to learn it, and then we turn it into a project. And so here's what that looked like for Rose. Rose came to us and we asked her, what are you curious about? What are you passionate about? What are your interests? Which is a process Kaylee will share in a minute. But if you were to get started with Curious Cardinals, we would ask a lot of questions about who you are. And we learned that Rose had a genuine love of jewelry, and fashion and pink and all the girly, girly things. And so we wanted to help her explore this interest, and her mom wanted it to be more than just a superfluous thing. So then we asked Rose, what are your superpowers? Where do you thrive? What are your strengths? What are you good at? And we learned that she has a natural ability to influence. All of her friends are always looking to her for advice on what to wear, what to buy, where to shop, where to go, where to eat. And we told her that she could turn that into a real skill of selling and marketing and learning how to turn this natural ability that she had into something that she could actually market as a skill. And we didn't make her do it alone. We then asked her, who are your role models? Who do you admire? Who are your favorite teachers? Who do you like to follow online? Who are you looking up to and why? And then we helped match her to a mentor. So we matched her to Phoebe. Phoebe was the president of the Fashion Club at Brown. She works for the Louis Vuitton Group in Paris. And Phoebe is someone who understands fashion. She's interdisciplinary. She's relatable. She's someone who can help Rose take this idea to the next level. And then she did. And so Rose created a business. She had more than $10,000 in revenue last year. This was all just as a freshman in high school. She did trunk shows. She's selling her jewelry online. She had a partnership with Love Shack Fancy, and she donates a portion of profits to a maternal health care nonprofit that's near and dear to her heart. And so this is an example of what she did just as a freshman in high school. So you can only imagine how she's continuing to scale this. This is just the beginning. This is what it could look like to launch a business and to go through the steps and process, but hopefully this gives you an idea of the projects that students do and what it's like to work with Curious Cardinals. And without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Kaylee to share a little bit more about Curious Cardinals, our mentors, and what makes us different.
So a lot of times on calls, I'll get the question like, what makes Curious Cardinals different from traditional college counseling or any other services? And one of the main reasons is that it is so personalized. When we do these intake calls, we gather a lot of information about your student and we hand select the mentor match. So it's based off of personality, off experiences, off of interests. So we make sure that it is very tailored. The learning plan that they create together is also super tailored. And the quality of our mentors are top tier. They are truly the top of the top. We have Rhodes Scholars, we have Olympians, and one of the beauties of our design is that we use near peer mentorship. So these students are older, aspirational versions of the students that they work with, but they're also a couple steps ahead. So they know kind of how to guide and lead the students that they're working with. And we have over 1,000 students now. I will highlight two of them. So this is Layla. She is a student at Cornell. She majored in industrial labor relations, and she ended up founding a nonprofit. She interned with the New York State Supreme Court in high school, and so she mentors students in these areas. I believe she was also a Curious Cardinals student as well. So it's cool to see that kind of cycle through, and when students become mentors, it's really full circle moment. And the other mentor I'll highlight is Aranyo. Aranyo is truly one of our greatest mentors. He graduated from Yale. He majored in computer science and psychology. He has won so many different awards. He's won ISEF, the Congressional App Challenge, the Diana Award. And so when a lot of families are looking for support with ISEF or for the Congressional App Challenge, Aranyo is often a mentor that will point them in the direction toward. And so he can mentor students in STEM projects, competition submissions, and lots of other things as well. He is also a really amazing mentor. We also get this question a lot. How can we depend on often college students or fresh out of college students? And I often say that first, it is really hard to become a mentor. We don't accept just anyone. We receive tons of applications, and it's a very rigorous vetting process and interview process. You have to demonstrate your teaching skills and your connection abilities. And we only take the top of the top. we can keep going. We also have a very thorough onboarding with our education team. We have ongoing training and support, and then mentors have access to the resource library where they have information on how to form sessions, how to help with executive functioning, how to help a student when they maybe don't really know what they want to do and they're still pathfinding. And so that is the curriculum library at the bottom. And then we also, they're frequently getting feedback and reviews from the education team so that they're always growing and just improving in their mentor abilities. In terms of how it works, so students and mentors meet every week. There is flexibility here. So this is kind of the typical cadence we see, but we have families who meet a couple times a week or every other week, and you can schedule right on your Curious Cardinals platform. So there will be a calendar, the mentor's calendar, and you can pick a time that works well for you. So it's super flexible in that way. Parents also receive detailed notes after every session so that when you ask your student after a call, like, how did it go? And they give you 1 or 2 words, you can really get a thorough understanding of what they worked on, and also give students that autonomy over their sessions, but you can still be part of it without them necessarily needing you to know that you saw these notes. And so it just keeps parents informed and in the loop. And then the last thing is progress report. So on a quarterly basis, parents get a Curious Cardinals engagement report. And so mentors and students are always reevaluating goals, making sure that they're still appropriate and adjusting as needed. And then they'll also set new goals as part of this progress report. So for how to sign up, so you can use this QR code. I will also put the link in the chat to book a time with our family admissions team. So there are 5 of us total on the team that would love to learn more about your student. And on this call, we'll really just be asking a bunch of questions about your students, and that will help us tailor the experience toward them, help match them with a perfect mentor for them, and then answer any questions you might have. Following that meeting, we will again find them their dream mentor, and then they can start meeting. So that all happens pretty quickly, but the first step would just be to book that call with our team. And yes, and Jules added that we are former educators. I was a K-8 special education teacher for 4 years before I was at Curious Cardinals, and we have a few other team members who are also former educators. So we definitely love connecting with families. And I will also put the link in the chat as well.
Amazing. And we will open it up to Q&A. Happy to answer any questions you all have. Feel free to ask in the chat or unmute and ask live. You have Kaylee and I's undivided attention. We would love to answer questions you have, anything from the presentation or otherwise that you're wondering about related to Curious Cardinals or your children, anything we can do to help. We are happy to answer questions. And I know Kaylee already answered this question in the chat, but we will share a recording in the follow-up email we send after this so that you can rewatch with your partner or show it to your kids. And if you're trying to brainstorm ways to share Curious Cardinals with your kids, one thing we recommend doing is looking at our website and case studies with them, looking at our Instagram and showing your kids what our students are up to. And so I should just screen share so you have an idea of you could go look at our Instagram with your kids and show them Jack and the thing he pitched to NASA. You can show them the amazing winners of our Timeless Skills in an AI era pitch competition and the incredible projects that they worked on. Lots of amazing student stories here. So whether you have a young student and you're trying to think about what they're interested in, or if you have an older student who wants to do research, there's so many different amazing stories on our Instagram that you can check out. And then I see a question in the chat. Is there an NDA in place? Yes, so all of our mentors in their contract have confidentiality agreements to protect students' safety and privacy, and the students' ideas and work are their own. And so, as Kaylee just answered, the work belongs to the student. If students are publishing research, 99% of the time, it is published only under their name. On rare occasions, students and mentors will co-publish research so that a mentor might have access to journals that a student doesn't have access to, but we are always mindful of student work being their own, and mentors sign NDAs also for your students' safety and privacy and security. Mentors when they receive information about a student, they get first name, last initial at the most, so they're not having access to sensitive personal information, and we're very mindful of safety and security in that way. Happy to answer any other questions anyone has. Kaylee, do you want to take the question in the chat?
Yes, happy to take that one. Yes, it is easy to switch mentors. So we start with a 2-week evaluation period for all mentorships. And during that window, that's the time to make sure it's a great fit. And so during that time, if you would like a rematch, you'd get refunded for those sessions held in the evaluation period window, and we would start fresh with someone new. If you were looking for a rematch outside of the evaluation period, that's also easy and super doable. You just wouldn't be refunded in the way that you would during the evaluation period. So just want to flag that. But generally, yes, it's easy to switch mentors. And of course, the mentor match is sometimes the most important thing in this experience. And so we want to make sure that a student is matched with the best fit for them. I can take this one as well. Mentorship is, yes, it is always virtual. I think parents are often pleasantly surprised by how engaging these virtual sessions can be. But we have mentors and students across the country. We even have some families outside of the US. And so all of our sessions are virtual. Vindya, yes, we can definitely have both your girls join. I would love to learn more about both of them. And we do two-on-one mentorship. So if they wanted to work together, that's doable. If they wanted to work separately, that's also doable. But I would encourage you to find some time with the link I sent, and then we can talk about both girls, but definitely. And then Irina, I think so. We work with K through 12 students. I would say the bulk of our students are between 7th grade and 10th grade. So that is definitely the most popular time, but 10 years old is not too early. I spoke with a 4-year-old recently, which is about the earliest that I've ever seen. I speak with 10-year-olds often, and we can definitely find a passion project or a mentorship that makes sense for their age.
Just to add there too, mentorship can be flexible. So if your 10-year-old isn't ready for hour-long Zoom sessions, we can break it up into 2 30-minute sessions a week. But we definitely have younger students working with us, and you can see some case studies. In our most recent pitch competition, we had a 7-year-old pitch alongside a 17-year-old. So know that while we are K through 12, and while most of our students are middle and high schoolers, we love working with lower schoolers as well. Any other questions you guys have for us? Or Kaylee, not to put you on the spot, but any common questions that you get that you feel like there are things we haven't addressed yet that are worth?
Um, I'm thinking of some common questions. Um, I often get questions about like different discounts we offer. And so while we offer a sibling discount. Something that we're doing right now is if you book a call and get matched with a mentor in the next week, we can offer a first free session. So just wanted to flag that. And then I'm trying to think what else people ask.
I love that. And someone in the chat asked, is starting as a senior in high school too late? I think we would want to hear more about your student and their goals. If it's a project that they want to do for them, starting right now isn't too late. If it's a project you're trying to do to meet the deadline of college applications, then that's a different story. So it's up to what your students' goals and needs are, and we want to learn more and hear more, and we'll be honest about when we're the right fit and when we're not, and set those expectations from the start. So if you want to share a little more context, feel free to write in the chat or unmute, and we can think about what's relevant to your situation. But Kaylee, I don't know if you have any additional
Yeah,
thoughts there.
I agree with that. We've worked with high school seniors before. We've even worked with college students, and so again, I think it depends what your goal is. For students of that age, I think it's often been more executive functioning and getting the skills into place while as they wrap up high school or enter college, or working on a passion project that they are genuinely really enthusiastic about.
Love it. Kaylee, do you want to take the next question or do you want me to?
You can take that one.
Okay. In terms of AI tools and our process and flow and structure, our mentors are encouraged to use AI thoughtfully and responsibly, both as mentors, but also in terms of how and if they introduce it to students. And then on the platform side of things, we like to say our philosophy as a company is to use AI to amplify, not replace, which is a very common AI framework. We do a lot of parent thought leadership work on AI and education. Our co-founder and CEO, Audrey Wish, also speaks about AI and education a lot and writes about it in her weekly parent newsletter, which I can share in the chat to give you a deeper understanding of our perspective on AI and education. But specifically on our platform, we have our CC note taker bot joins every call and records sessions with students and mentors. Number one, for safety and privacy reasons, always to protect students. But the second aspect of that is to help leverage mentor and student sessions to help write those session notes. So mentors still edit and add to the session notes, but it gives them a starting place to generate learning plans and lesson session agendas. So if you have a call with Kaylee and Kaylee creates an engagement, then a lesson plan is generated based on your call, and that dynamically updates based on the sessions and the session notes. And so that's how we use AI to leverage what humans can do well versus what AI can do well, using AI as a tool to amplify. We don't want AI to replace human connection and mentorship. We use AI to help make humans better and do the things that humans can't do. And so our mentors are aware of that when they go through training, and our mentors are also the top of their class at amazing universities. So they're college students, grad students, and recent grads all entering the workforce in this AI era, who are all very AI native, AI fluent, and able to incorporate that into their own workflow, approaching mentorship. But also, if your student wants to explore AI and mentorship, you can let us know. We can match them to mentors who specialize in using AI tools. If you don't want to use AI, you can also let us know. And then we're always very thoughtful about how we introduce AI with students and the tools that we recommend students use versus what we don't recommend they use. So one tool we really like for students is Notebook LM, which is a Google product. And the reason we like it is because students upload the source material that they use, and it's very multimodal. So if your student wants to make flashcards or wants to have a podcast, or it can generate lots of different study materials for them, but they have to give it the right inputs. So they might upload like their history unit notes and the crash course video, and add in all of the different factors there. And so it's super personal, and would just encourage you to, if you have a call with Kaylee or another member of our family admissions team, share what your goals are, what you're looking for, and what you're not. That way we can match you to the right person. Um, and then Kay, to answer your question about the percentage of students who use this program and achieve results. We don't have percentages publicly available, but you are welcome to look at our website and at our case studies and learn more about the work that students do. Many of our students do amazing projects and work, the majority, but I would say that we don't measure it necessarily in the way of results, because results are goal dependent. So I would be mindful of what your family's goals are and what you want to get out of this. We say that we can control inputs but not outputs. So we can't control the outcome of the work. But if you're like submitting to a competition, but we can help you do the very best. And then publicly available on our website are reviews that families have written. So our average family rating is 4.8 out of 5 stars, and 98% of students love their Curious Cardinals experience. So that's all publicly available information that you are welcome to look at, and I will drop the link for reviews in the chat. But we don't have specific percentages available there, but you can look at our case studies and see the amazing work that students are doing. Look at our Instagram, and see like our recent timeless skills in an AI area pitch competition, which we just held for the second time. And actually, to answer the next question in the chat, Zarna Garg was a judge of our most recent timeless skills in an AI era pitch competition, which was supported by google.org, judged by Zarna Garg, who, for those of you who don't know, is a famous Indian author and comedian, and then also judged by Michael Seibel, who's the partner emeritus at Y Combinator, which is the infamous startup incubator, and Laura Modi, the co-founder and CEO of Bobby, which is the infant formula brand that reached $100 million in revenue in its first 18 months. And so Zarna and her family are amazing. We love them. Her daughter Zoya and our co-founder Audrey are friends, and so we've gotten to partner with them, and they are the best. And we love the Garg family, and are grateful to have their support and to get to work with them, and across a lot of different things. So yeah. Any other questions anyone has that we can answer before we drop off? Otherwise, I'll let Kaylee share. I see one more question that I will answer, but I will let Kaylee share the link to book a call one more time in the chat so you have it, and we'll stay on. We'll answer more questions. But I will share to answer Nadia's question about looking up mentors. The process is often that you come in, you have a call with our family admissions team, and they take everything that they learned about you and everything they know about the more than 1,000 mentors actively on our platform, and they help find the best match. But if you wanted to browse mentors and see who the options are, I'm sharing the link to look at mentors on our website, and you can create an account on our platform and browse mentors that way as well. But we will help find the best match. You don't have to go through and try to find the perfect person. We will find the right person based on availability, based on shared interest. We have more insights into our mentors than what you can see publicly. And so we will help find the right mentor for your child. And Kaylee and I will stay on for another minute to answer any final questions. I'll let her share pricing information as well. But we're here. Otherwise, we're so grateful that you took the time to join us, and would love for your families to get started and join our Curious Cardinals community. And Kaylee just sent information about pricing in the chat as well. And you can see more on our pricing page on our website.
And I know that I shared a lot about pricing there. So there's so many different options. Our recommended is to do the month-to-month of 4 sessions per month. So that's about an hour a week of $95 an hour. So that comes out to $380 a month. But again, there's lots of flexibility if that is better for you. That is just our typical choice.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. We would love to work with your students. And as Kaylee shared, if you sign up for a consultation call and get started this week, you can have a first free session. But would love to work with all of you and get started and help your student explore something of interest this summer. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you.